Hello student, welcome you to Mohansa's classes. In this lecture, we will learn about the dawn of modern culture in Europe and India, that is, the early modern age, from the year of 1300 to 1800 CE, and this is the part 3 of this chapter. In this lecture, we will discuss scientific revolution, maritime expedition, and geographic discoveries. Three topics we are going to learn in this class. The first one is scientific revolution, second, maritime expedition, and third is geographical discoveries. So, first of all, let us learn scientific revolution. Scientific revolution. Theism, the belief in gods, dominated thinking in Europe during the Middle Ages. This sentence that theism. What is theism? That means believing in God and goddesses. Believing in gods and goddesses. So theism, the believing in God and goddesses, dominated thinking in Europe during the Middle Ages. That means in the Europe during the Middle Ages, that believing in God and goddesses was dominated. It was also the dominant influence in the Islamic countries and India. That means this was not only in the European country, this domination also was going on in Islamic countries and India. The theist preached that God is the ultimate truth. Theist, that means those who believe in God and goddesses, they preached and they taught that God is the ultimate truth, the all power who created the universe. And they said that and they preached that God is the person or a powerful person, or we can use a technical term that means omnipotent. He created all the universe. He created all the universe and the world. Hence, people should forsake the pursuit of comfort and prosperity in the world and seek place near in God in heaven. And these religious people, they taught that people should forsake. What is forsake? That means forget about the worldly comfort, worldly wealth, worldly property, prosperity, everything we have to forget. Then people has to seek what? Place near in God. That means people has to forget all this worldly property, prosperity, wealth, everything, and the comfort also. Then people has to seek place near God in heaven. Next sentence, there was no place for studying the physical world in such thinking. In such thinking, there was no place or there was no chance of studying about the physical world where we are living. Such study was even seen as being opposed to religious life. What happened? If anybody goes for the physical study, so the religious people think that, or they opposed that it was what? Opposite, it was threaten or threat for the religious life. This is why science could not progress in the Middle Ages. That is the reason science could not progress in Middle Ages. But this doesn't mean that there was no science. So it doesn't mean that there was no science. The Islamic world saw a flowering of science during this period. During this period, it witnessed that Islamic world was flowering or developing science during this period. So in this paragraph, we learn that theism, that means the people, those who believe in God and goddesses, they were dominating in Europe during the Middle Ages. In same time, they also were dominating in Islamic countries and India. And these theist people, they used to preach that God is the ultimate truth and He is the powerful person who created the universe and the world. And because of that they preach that people has to forsake or forget all this worldly comfort, prosperity, wealth, property, and people has to seek place near to God in heaven. Because of this reason, what happened, there was no place for studying about physical world. And if any person study about physical world, the religious people they used to think that it was opposed to the religious life. Because of this reason, science was not progressing and developing during the Middle Ages. But it doesn't mean that there was no science. During this period, what happened? Islamic people they were flowering or developing science in this period. Which period? During the Middle Ages. Next paragraph. We had seen earlier how Arab philosophers studied and translated the work of Chinese scientists and Indian mathematics. In the part 1 and part 2, we have learned that how the Arab philosophers they studied and translated what? Chinese scientist and Indian mathematics. These are the two things which was translated by whom? The Arab philosophers. They adopted Indian mathematics. Listen carefully. They adopted Indian mathematics, particularly the decimal number system. Who? These Arab philosophers they adopted or they learned Indian mathematics, particularly what? The decimal number system. They also adopted some well-known Chinese inventions such as gunpowder, block printing, and magnet. That means these Arab philosophers they also learn about what? Chinese invention. What were the Chinese invention? Such as gunpowder, printing, and magnet. All these things were adopted by the Arab philosophers. Next sentence. Arab intellectuals built upon the work of Chinese and Indian astronomers in calculating the motion of planets, stars, and other heavenly bodies. That means the intellectuals of the Arab, with the help of the work of Chinese and the Indian astronomers, they start calculating what? The motion of planets, star, and other heavenly bodies. Listen carefully. Arabian intellectuals with the help of Chinese work and Indian astronomers, they started calculating motions of planets, stars, and other heavenly bodies. Next, the scientific treatises from these countries found their way to European scientists. Because of the scientific treatise from this country, what happened? The European scientists find the way for progress in science. In this way, Arab scientists reached India. Through this way or in this way, Arabian scientists they reached India. So what we learn from this paragraph? In this paragraph, we learn that Arabian philosophers they studied and translated Chinese scientists and Indian mathematics. They also added to what? Indian mathematics, that is particularly the decimal number system. And they also adopted like some well-known Chinese invention. What were that? Like a gunpowder, block printing, and magnets. So what happened? Through the work of Chinese and Indian astronomer, the Arabian intellectual they start calculating the motion of planet, star, and other heavenly bodies. So what happened? These scientific treatises from those countries found the way for the European scientists, and in this way the European scientists reached India. Next paragraph. When the study of Greek and Latin classic was revived in Europe, the people there began studying scientific literature from Greece as well as the work of Arab science. So what does this sentence says? This sentence says that when study of Greek and Latin classic was revived, we know that in the Western Europe during the Middle Ages, the the study of Latin and Greek was forgotten, or people didn't study or didn't give interest. But after that, what happened? At the end of 19th century, again it was revived. It was revived. So it is said that the Greek and Latin classics was revived in Europe. Thereafter, what happened? People began studying scientific literature. Thereafter, people began of studying scientific literature from Greece as well as the work of Arab science. From where they learned or studied scientific literature? From Greece as well as the work of Arab science. It was in those days that the European navigators were looking for a sea route to India and China. During this time, what happened? The European navigators or sailors, they were looking for a sea route to come to India and China. They had crossed unfamiliar seas and oceans. In that time, they had gone or they had reached to what? Unfamiliar seas and oceans. Their only method to navigate their way across the oceans was tracking the position of stars and planets in the sky. So, as they reached or crossed the unfamiliar uh, seas and oceans, now there was only method to find or to cross the ocean was what? By tracking the position of star and the planets in the sky. In the geography first chapter, as I was teaching about cartography and the study of map, there I have taught about the North Pole or the North Star. That was one of the star which give the direction. So that's why it is says that, or in that class also in the first chapter geography, I have taught you that through the help of this compass or the North Star, the navigator used to what? Find the way or travel through the sea route. So it is same thing repeated over here, that the method the navigator used to cross the ocean was that what? Position of the star and the planets in the sky. Next sentence. They also use magnetic compass to chart their path. Just I said that North Pole star and the magnetic compass were used for finding the path or route. The telescope with glass lens had just been invented, so it helped them to long distance across the sea. So during that time, what happened? The telescope just it was invented, and it helped them to look the long distance across the sea. That means during that time, just telescope was invented. So through the help of telescope, they used to see the things at distance. So in this paragraph, we learn that Greek and Latin classics was revived in Europe, and the people start studying scientific literature from Greek as well as the Arab science. In that time or in those days, what happened? The European navigator, they were looking for a sea route to India and China. As they were looking for a sea route to India and China, they had already crossed some unfamiliar seas and oceans. Only the method they used to find or cross the oceans were what? By tracking the position of stars and planets in the sky. And they also use magnetic compass to find their path. In that time, what happened? The telescope had just invented, which helped them to see the things which is long distance across the sea. Next paragraph. Similarly, in those days, cannons were used widely in war. What happened? In those days, cannons were used widely in the war. Next, cannoneers had to know the angle at which the cannon should be released the cannonball for strike the target. So what happened? The cannoneers, that means those who are using cannon, so they had to know the angle in which the cannon should be released or the cannon should be what? Throw for striking the target. That means in that time, what happened? World War was going on and people start using cannons, and those who were using cannons, they had to know the right angle where the cannon should be target or to throw. Next, the estimate of the route included factors like the weight of the cannonball and the bore diameter of the cannon. That means they estimate the root of the cannon and weight of the cannon, that how far it could go, how through the bore diameter of the cannon. All this involve scientific studies. So for all this thing what happened, scientific studies was needed. That's why king and merchant showed special interest in science and its investigation. Because of this reason what happened, kings and merchants, they given special interest in science and investigations. So in this paragraph we learn that in those days cannons were mostly used in wars, and the person or cannoneers, those who were using cannon, they had to know the right angle which the cannon should be released and the ball should be strike the target. And because of this one, they had to estimate the route, include the weight of the cannonball through the help of bore diameter of the cannon. And all these things what include the or involve scientific study. Because of that reason, kings and merchants, they showed special interest in science and investigations. Next paragraph. There were some scientists in Europe during the Middle Ages. Listen carefully. There were some scientists in the Europe when during the Middle Ages. In 13th century England, there was a Roger Bacon, Roger Bacon, who paved the way for experiment-based investigation of scientific principle. So he was the person who showed the way, or he ushered the way, or led the way for experiment-based investigation scientific principles. In those days, the common practice was to guess, estimate the answer to any question. That means during the 13th century, that means the common practice of answering any question was only guess. That means guessing and answering. The process of reaching conclusion on the basis of observation from experiment was not established. That means in those days, answering a question or to come to conclusion with the observation and experiment was not established. How people used to answer? Only by guessing. Bacon's insistence of this scientific method slowly became the accepted practice in the scientific studies. That means the Bacon's insistence of scientific method became slowly and accepted by the practice in scientific studies. So in this paragraph we learn that there were some scientists in Europe during the Middle Ages. In 13th century there was a scientist in England, his name was Roger Bacon, and he was the person who led the way for experiment based investigation of scientific principle. Till that time or till those days what happened, people used to answer for any question through the through the guessing. By guessing only they used to answer, and to give the conclusion there was no any experiment and observation was established. That was the reason Bacon's insistence of this scientific method slowly became the accepted practice in scientific studies. Next paragraph. As we had seen earlier, the Renaissance was the age when a lot of research was being done in the anatomy of the human body. That means in the part 2 of this chapter we have learned that during the time of Renaissance what happened, there was lot of research had been done about anatomy of the human body. What is anatomy? That means structure of human body. So during the period of Renaissance there were a lot of research about the structure of human body or the anatomy of the human body. Another area of study was the geometry of perspective and projective geometry. So another study was what? Geometry of perspective and projective geometry. In addition, there was the observation based astronomy. That means not only about the anatomy of human body, or we can say geometry or perspective, projective geometry, but also what there was observation based astronomy. That means they were studying astronomy through the observation, through the seeing. The widely accepted believing during the Middle Age was that the earth was the center of the whole universe and all the stars, moons and planets orbit around it. So during the Middle Ages, people believed that, or people used to believe that earth was the center. Earth was the center, and other universe like star, sun, moon, all they were revolving or what moving around the earth. This geocentric theory can be traced to the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle. That means the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle, okay, he has given this geocentric theory. What is the meaning of geocentric theory? Listen carefully. Geocentric theory in the sense earth is in the center of the universe, and other planet like a star, sun, moon, they orbit or revolve around the earth. Listen carefully. What is geocentric? That means earth is in the center and other planets like a star, sun, moon, they revolve or round around the sun. Who says? It is the theory of Aristotle. People in those days also believed that the earth was flat and that we will fall down if we went to its edge. People also believe that earth is flat, not like a circle or a oval shape. They believe that it is the earth was flat, and if we go to the corner of the last of the earth, we will fall down. So in this paragraph we learn that during the Renaissance we have seen that there were a lot of research about an anatomy of human body, that means the structure of human body, and they also study about what geometry of perspective and projective geometry. In addition and above that, they also studied about observation based astronomy. That means astronomy they studied based on the observation and seeing. And in those days, that means during the Middle Age, people believed that earth was the center and other planets like a sun, moon, star, they used to revolve or move around the earth. And this geocentric theory was traced by whom? The Greek philosopher Aristotle. What is geocentric theory? That means earth is in the center and other planets move around the earth. And in those days also people believed that the earth was flat, and if anyone go to the end of the earth, they will fall. Next paragraph. Many astronomers of that time studied the path and motion of the planet in the sky. That means in the Middle Age, many astronomers they studied what? The path and motion of planet in the sky. What is path? The way. They studied that the planet, the motion of planet in the sky, in which way or which direction they were moving. They faced a problem. Who? The astronomer, they faced a problem. They found that the motion of planet did not tally with geocentric universe. They come to know that, or they find problem that the motion of planet is not a geocentric universe. What is geocentric universe? That means earth is the center of universe and other planets are moving around the sun. The most prominent among them was the Polish astronomer named what? Nicolaus Copernicus. Among them, the most famous was a Polish astronomer. His name was Nicolaus Copernicus. Published a book towards the end of his life, which he said that this problem could be resolved if we accept that it is the sun, not the earth, that is the center of the universe, and that all the planets, including the earth, revolve around it. So, what he said that at the end of his life, that means before his death, he published a book and he said that this problem can be solved. Which problem? That people doing lot of research about that the path and motion of the planet in the sky. in which path they are moving, what is their motion. This is the problem, and they were finding problem about this geocentric universe. That's why there was a Polish astronomer named called what? Nicholas Copernicus. At the end of his life, he published a book and he accepted that it is sun is the center of the universe and other planet is moving around the sun or orbiting around the sun. So according to Aristotle, what is his theory? His theory is what? Geocentric theory. According to geocentric theory, that means earth is the center and other planets are moving like a sun, moon, star move around the or revolve around the earth. Next, if we talk about this Nicholas Copernicus theory, that is called what? Heliocentric. According to this heliocentric, what is that? Sun is in the center of the universe. Other like earth, sun, moon, they revolve around the sun. So in this paragraph we learn that many astronomers in the Middle Ages, they were studying about the path and motion of the planets in the sky. They found problem in the motion of this geocentric universe. The most prominent among them was the Polish astronomer Nicholas Copernicus. At the end of his life, he published a book to find the solution, and he proved that, or he accepted that Earth is not in the center, rather Sun is in the center and all the other planets are moving around the Sun including Earth. Next paragraph. This heliocentric theory of Copernicus was quite revolutionary for his time. This heliocentric theory. What is heliocentric theory? Sun is the center of universe and all other planets like sun, moon, star and including earth revolve around the sun. People were not ready to accept that the earth, which appeared stationary to them, could be actually be orbiting the sun. So in those days, people, they didn't believe, or they were not ready to accept that, because we know that earth is, we feel like a stationary, a statue. It's not moving anywhere still. So how it could be move around the sun? How it could move around the sun? And the church stated that God had ordained the earth as the center of the universe so that humans could live at the center. According to church, they said that it is the God or the powerful God who created the universe, and he ordained the earth, or he made the earth at the center of the universe, that human being, they could live at the center of the universe. So the church opposed the heliocentric theory. That is the reason what happened. Church opposed the heliocentric theory. So in this paragraph we will learn that the heliocentric theory of the Copernicus was quite revolutionary in that time, but people, they were not ready to accept this heliocentric theory, that the earth, which is what where the people, which is like a stationary, how it could move around the sun. Even the church said that God had created all the universe and ordained or made earth as a center, that people could live on the center. That is the reason church opposed the heliocentric theory. Next paragraph. However, many astronomers investigated Copernicus' theory. They made details and minute observation of the motion of stars and planets in the sky. Thereafter what happened? Many astronomers, they investigated the theory of Copernicus, and what happened? They studied detailedly about the minute observation of the stars and planets in the sky. Prominent among them was Tycho Brahe, who set up an observatory in Denmark. There was one astronomer, his name was Tycho Brahe. He set up an observatory in Denmark. Hence, a new method were used to observe the planet and calculate their motion. He used new method for observing the planet and calculating their motion. So in this paragraph we will learn that many astronomers they investigated the theory of Copernicus, that means heliocentric theory. Sun is the center and other planets move around the sun. They did the detailed study and minute observation of the motion of stars and other planets in the sky. And among them, there were many astronomers, but among the prominent was that Tycho Brahe. So he set up a observatory in Denmark. Then he used new methods to observe the planet and calculate their motion. Next paragraph. Another astronomer, Johannes Kepler. Johannes Kepler examined this finding and made his own detailed calculation and observation. After the Tycho Brahe, Johannes Kepler, he did his own study about and did the calculation and observation. He noted that calculations made sense only if the Earth and all the planets revolve around the Sun as Copernicus had said. So what he said that? He said that calculation could be made sense only if if Sun is the center, then Earth, Moon, star, other revolve around the Sun, according to Copernicus said. However, Copernicus had erred in one respect, and he said Johannes Kepler said that Copernicus he had done a small mistake. He said that Earth followed a circular path while orbiting the Sun. According to Copernicus had said that Earth is moving around the Sun in a circular orbit. Kepler calculation showed the orbital path followed by the Earth was not circular but elliptical. So, Kepler said that the orbit of Earth or revolution of the Earth around the Sun is not like a circular but it is what? Elliptical, in like a oval way. So in this paragraph we learn that another astronomer, Johannes Kepler, he examines the finding and he did his own study and calculation and observation. Thereafter he noted that whatever Copernicus said it was right. That means Sun is the center of universe and other planets like a moon, star and earth orbit around the Sun. And he said that there was a mistake about Copernicus, that Earth is not moving around the Sun in a circular path, rather it is moving in a what? Elliptical way. Next paragraph. It was Kepler who said we can understand the physical world only by a minute observation and calculation. So, who said? Kepler said that if you want to understand the physical world, that means it can be possible only what? Minute observation and calculation, not by our widely held beliefs, religious texts, assumption, etc. He said that by the religious belief and religious texts we can't understand, only we can understand by how? A minute observation and calculation. Next, the Italian scientist Galileo also placed a greatest emphasis on details observation and calculation. There was an Italian scientist, his name was what? Galileo Galilei. So he placed the greatest emphasis on the details observation and calculation. How? He established what Kepler said on firm ground. That means whatever Kepler said, he agreed. Who agreed? Galileo. Galileo is known for asking leading questions, then looking for answer by doing experiments and studying the result. Galileo is a person, he always asks question, lead the question and answer the question by the experiment and the studying of result. This become the guiding principle of scientific. This become what? A guiding principle of scientific. So in this paragraph we learn that Kepler who said that physical world can be studied only by a minute observation and calculation, not by the religious belief or religious text assumption. Thereafter, there was an Italian scientist, Galileo Galilei. So he placed a greatest emphasis on detailed observation and calculation, and he was agree with Kepler. And Galileo was a person who used to ask the question and he used to look for the answer by the experiment and studying the result. This became what? A guiding principle of scientific research. Next paragraph. Galileo used the telescope invented by seafarers to study the stars. Galileo was a person who invented telescope, and through the telescope we can see what happened. A farer or the things at the object at distance place. He found that like a Jupiter, Saturn and several moons orbiting around them. So who? Galileo found that Jupiter, Saturn and other several moons and planets are orbiting or revolving around the sun. The questions he asked was, why do planets and moons orbit? Who or what propels them? After seeing from the telescope that Jupiter, Saturn and other moons are orbiting around the sun, thereafter he asked a question that why do planets or moons orbit? Why planets, moon, earth orbit around the sun? And who is the person what propel them? That means who is the person what orbiting them, or what is the force that making them to move around the sun? He did many experiments to find out why objects move and why they stop. Thereafter, he did many experiments to find out why the object move and why they stop. For example, he dropped heavy light objects together from a height to see if they fall together, if there was a difference in their motion. For the experiment, for example, what he did, he dropped heavy and light object together from a height. What he did, he taken a heavy object or heavy things or a light or less weight object and he put together. That means example, take an example like a big orange and a small orange. So he put together. Understood? To see what? If they fall together or if there was a difference in their motion. So he took a big or example, I'm giving example, okay. He taken what? A big or a small or a heavy or a light object and put together from a height, from a distance, to find out that either both are the object or both are the things are falling together or in a different motion. He also hang an object from a thread and observe its motion as swung to and from. Thereafter what happened? He hang a object or a thing on a thread. Thereafter he observed the motion as it was swing, going forward and moving back. So seeing the movement. He rolled balls on the floor to see which angle or what kind of floor they roll the furthest. That means he also would roll the ball on the floor to find out that in which angle the balls are running or in which floor the ball run the furthest or go little distance. On the basis of all this observation, he concluded that Copernicus' heliocentric theory was correct. He published his finding in the book. After all this observation and experiment, he proved that Copernicus' heliocentric theory was correct, and thereafter he published his findings in a book. So in this paragraph we learn that there was many experiment about the why object move and why they stop. Because of that reason, what happened? He dropped heavy and light object. That means he taken one heavy object or heavy things. One is what light or less object from a distance to identify that either the two objects they will fall correct time or there will be a difference. He also what happened? He tied the object in a thread and he swing it to find out either it is going forward or coming back. Thereafter he also rolled some balls on the floor to find out which angle the ball is rolling and in which floor the ball can roll furthest or distance place. And on this basis of this observation, he concluded that Copernicus' heliocentric theory was correct, and thereafter he published all these things in a book. Next paragraph. The church was not happy with the sun replacing the earth at the center of the universe. So, church was not happy that, as we know earlier, they said that earth is the center of the universe, but now when it is proved that sun is the center of universe, the church was not happy. It banned Galileo's book and put pressure on him to react his observation. Because of this, what happened? Church banned the book of Galileo and pressure him to do the react observation. Galileo accepted the church condition. That what happened? Galileo accepted the church condition. But he continued to perform his experiments secretly, publishing his findings in countries where Pope's writ did not extend. So he agreed with the church condition. Even then, what happened? Galileo was secretly continuing his experiment, and he published his findings and writing the books in a country where the laws of the popes were not extant. So in this paragraph we learn that church were not happy that sun is the center of the universe. That's why they banned the books of the Galileo and pressure him to do the re-study and re-observation. Galileo accepted the church condition, but secretly he was performing his experiment and publishing books in a country where the rule of popes was not there. Next paragraph. Galileo's trial by the church becomes a symbol of the Galileo's trial by the church become a symbol of the confrontation between religious dogma and science with the upholders of religious suppressing scientific finds. So Galileo's trial, that means treat or this difficult by the church, become a symbol of the confrontation. What is confrontation? That means challenge. Challenge between what? Religious doctrine and science. When Galileo was treated and banned to publish the book, then it became what? Confrontation or challenge between the what? Religious dogma or religious doctrine and science. What? With the upholders of religious suppressing scientific findings. It can also be seen as a confrontation between powerful vested interest on the one hand, the investigative spirit of the human beings on the other. So it also can be seen what? A confrontation between powerful vested interest. That means the people those are having a powerful interest. On other hand, what happened? Investigative spirit of human being on the other. That means some people they were confronting as a powerful interest, and other case we can say people were, we can see that a investigative spirit of the people. Next paragraph. The English scientist Isaac Newton proposed his famous theory of gravity and the motion of astronomical bodies on the basis of discoveries of Kepler and Galileo. Next is that there was an English scientist, his name was Isaac Newton. He proposed his famous theory. What was his theory? Gravity. What is the gravity? That means on the earth there is a gravitational force. When we throw any object upwards, it pulls downwards. So that he proposed through the help of whom? Discovery of Kepler and Galileo. Newton's work ushered a new age where science was accorded the highest esteem. The Newton's work saw the way in an age where science was accorded with the highest esteem. So in this paragraph we learn that there was an English scientist, his name was Isaac Newton. He proposed his famous theory about gravity, that means gravitational force, through the motion of astronomical bodies on the basis of what? Discovery of Kepler and Galileo. Next, this Newton's work saw the way in a new age where science was accorded with the high esteem. Next paragraph. We have seen how new science was born in the early modern era after being freed from the bonds of religious misconception. So, from the above discussion, we learned that how new science was born in the early modern era, being that making people freedom from the religious misconception. This new science was not based on old assumption but upon experiment and mathematical proof. This new science was not based on the old assumption and the beliefs, but how it is upon the experiment and mathematical proof. The age of Renaissance began with the assumption that Aristotle's beliefs and method were the proof of scientific knowledge. That means the age of Renaissance they assumed or they proved that Aristotle's beliefs and methods were the proof of scientific knowledge. But with onest of the scientific revolution, it was established that many Aristotle's basis theories and methods of studies and investigations were wrong. Thereafter, what happened? The onest of scientific revolution. It was established that many of the Aristotle's theories and methods investigations were wrong. So, in this paragraph, we learn that in the early modern era, we people become what freed from the religious misconception or bondage of religious misconception. And what happened? The new science was not by the old belief or misconception, rather, it is through experiment and mathematical proof. And the age of Renaissance, they began to assume and believe that Aristotle's beliefs and methods were proof for the scientific knowledge. But they also assumed that there was many wrongs about Aristotle theories and investigations. Our next topic is maritime expedition and geographical discoveries. Maritime expedition and geographical discovery. At the time when Copernicus, Galileo, and other scientists were conducting their investigation, sailors from Europe were crossing the oceans to find new sea lands to New World. So while Copernicus, Galileo, and other scientists they were conducting their investigations, in that time what happened? Sailors from the Europe they were crossing the oceans to find the new sea lands or sea street to the new world. Before this, their voyages were mostly along with the shallow coast from the port to port. That means before their voyages, what is voyages? That means traveling in the seas. They used to have mostly go the shallow, that means a deep coast from the port to port. They seldom ventured into the deep ocean. Sometimes what happened? They also ventured or faced a danger or deep oceans. The main reason was that they did not have any maps of the seas which could help them to find their way. The main problem was that during those days they were not having any kinds of map which will show them the right path. There was only one way they could resolve the problem: observe the star, planet, and use their position to find out where they were on the earth's surface and which path they should choose. So only the way they were traveling or to find the solution was that they used to observe the North Pole star and other planets' position, through which they used to find their way and to move around. So in this paragraph we learn that at the time of Copernicus, Galileo, and other scientists were conducting investigation. Many of the European sailors they were crossing the seas to find out a new world. So before what happened? Their voyages were mostly along with the shallow and the coast from port to port. And sometimes they used to find difficulties in the deep oceans because there were no maps which could help them to find their path. Only the way to resolve the problem was that they used to find out the North Star and other position of the planet. By seeing them, they used to travel or they used to find their direction. Next paragraph. These mariners, that means sailors, set out from a new land in search of wealth. These mariners, they set out a new land in search of wealth. That means to in search of wealth, property, they find the new lands. Many of them also wanted to spread Christianity in the new worlds they discovered to gain fame of salvation. So in this sentence it says that many of the sailors, they wanted to spread Christianity into the new world for what? To gain the fame and salvation. What is salvation? Mukti. The kings and emperors supported them in their search, especially because they wanted to find a new sea route to India and China. So in this case, what happened? The king and emperors, they supported in search. Why? Because they wanted to find out a new sea route to India and China. The mariners believed they could reach India if they sailed around the Africa continent. The mariners or the sailors, they believed that if they want to reach India, they have to travel through the African continent. If the world was round and not flat, as the scientists were proposing, they could also sail across the Western Sea to reach the countries in the far east. So they said that the sailor says that if the world was round and it is not flat as the scientists were proposing, so they said that they could sail the Western Sea to reach the countries in the far east. That means they could cross the Atlantic Ocean to reach eastern coast of China. Is that they could cross the Atlantic Ocean to reach eastern coast of China. So in this paragraph we will learn that mariners, they set out new lands in search of wealth. In search of wealth, they find out the new land, and many of them, they wanted to spread Christianity to get the fame and salvation. That's why kings and emperors, they supported them in search. Especially, they wanted to find out a new sea route to China and India. And the mariners, they believed that if they go through African continent, they could reach to India. And if they thought that if the world was round, it is not flat as the scientists were proposing. So if they could also sail across the Western Sea to reach the countries in the far and east, and that means they could reach Atlantic Ocean to reach the eastern coast of China. Next paragraph. The Portuguese navigator, one who works out the route of ships on sea, his name was Vasco da Gama, sailed around the Africa to reach Calicut in the coastal India state of Kerala in the year of 1498. There was a Portuguese navigator, his name was Vasco da Gama. He sailed around the Africa and he reached Calicut, that means the coastal Indian state of Kerala, in the year of 1498. Before him, the Italian navigator, his name was Christopher Columbus, set out towards India, reaching a group of islands off the coast of new continent. That means before the Vasco da Gama, there was other Italian navigator, his name was Christopher Columbus. He reached to India and find out a group of islands in the coast of new continent. He thought he had reached India, so he called the islands the Indies and inhabitants Indians. So he thought that because he reached to some island and he thought that he has reached to India. That's why he named the island as Indies, and those who are living in that island, they were called what? Indians. So in this paragraph we learn that there was a Portuguese navigator, his name was Vasco da Gama. He sailed around Africa to reach Calicut, India, the coastal Indian state of Kerala, in the year of 1498. And before he reached to India, there was a other Italian navigator, his name was Christopher Columbus. He set towards the India and he reached certain islands, and he thought that he reached India. That's why he named the island as the Indies, and those who were living in the islands, he called them Indians. Last paragraph. Later, Portuguese navigator Amerigo Vespucci established this was a new continent by sailing around it. Later what happened? There was a Portuguese navigator Amerigo Vespucci. So he established this was a new continent by sailing around it. The continent was named America after him. That means as who this Amerigo Vespucci, he invented the continent. According to that, the continent was named as America. A few years later, the Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan decided to sail his ships around the entire world to prove the earth was round. After few years of this Amerigo Vespucci, there was a other Portuguese navigator. His name was Ferdinand Magellan. So he decided to travel entire the oceans to find out or prove that the world was round. He could not complete his circumnavigation, dying along the way, but his crew completed the journey. That means he could not complete his journey because he died on the way, but his crew, that means his fellow men, they complete the journey. So in this last paragraph it says that later, that means there was a Portuguese navigator, his name is Amerigo Vespucci. He established which one was established by whom? Christopher Columbus, this Indies and Indians. So he established this was a new continent by sailing around it, and the continent was named America according to his name because his name was Amerigo. After few years of that, there was a other Portuguese navigator. His name was Ferdinand Magellan. So he decided to sail around the ship around entire world to prove that the earth was round. But what happened? He could not complete the navigation because as he died on the way, but his crew or his fellow men completed the journey. Hope all of you understood. Thank you.